Hello there, and welcome to a live stream of Rantz. It's Crisandro, of course, and it is a first live stream of first live stream of this last 6 months actually, because I think the last one was a Premier League game at I think Luton away in the end of last year, where we won 1-0. So that was the last live stream. This is going to be the first one of this year, really, and this year actually. So we shall see how it goes. It's Chris Andrew, as I mentioned. I know on the title it says that I'm here with a partner of mine. Bill is going to be joining us soon. He's just a little bit waylaid, I presume, and hopefully all's okay with him. But yeah, it's just a little end of season thoughts and chat really. Just basically based on what we have seen the last 9 months. Tottenham Hotspur, of course, in both the men and the women's, did relatively okay with the managers that came along in the summertime. Ange Postecoglou, of course, for the men's team, and Robert Villaham for the women's. And there's not much expectation from both, as we said. For the women's, it was a case of trying to overturn a disastrous previous campaign where we just narrowly avoided relegation with the help of a victory over Reading, if I remember rightly. And for the men's, it was two managers, well, three in the end. And it was just a complete mess of a season. Ended up finishing eighth in that campaign, and a, and a lot of soul searching. A lot of soul searching was needed after that. We obviously changed manager at a time, and then we brought in, for many people, relative unknowns, but for the worldly wise of us, we kind of knew a little bit about them. Ange Postecoglou, of course, Australian manager who's had success everywhere he has been. The last place he was at Celtic, where I know people will say what they want about the league, but there is you have to beat what's in front of you. And if the only opposition against against Rangers, then it is going to be literally a you just have to beat what's in front of you. And welcome, Bilal. Yeah.
Hey.
Apple's well with you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
No worries. I was just literally saying that we're just kind of like pressing where how we started last season. The for both the men and the women is basically the disappointment of the previous campaigns. The women avoiding relegation, of course, and the men going through so many managers was unreal, finishing eighth and out of Europe. And just onto the topic of Ange Postecoglou coming in and taking over from Celtic, and obviously has his own kind of style of play, similar to Robert Villaham for the women's team. Came over from BK Hocken in Sweden, I think it is, and obviously very similar styles of play, and obviously trying to put their own kind of stamp on this on this team. And basically, it was a season where we weren't sure what was going to happen. I know I said, and I think we chatted, didn't we? That I think I said that my thought is challenge for the title, see where we end up. Can't actually remember where you said that you were hoping that we'll finish. Was you going to enlighten us on that one?
In terms of, I thought Ange's first season, it would be realistic for like a top 5 finish. From after losing our key player, Harry Kane, and then starting with a new manager, I was always thinking like 5th or 6th. So to finish 5th from where we are, I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I mean, and it's obviously I remember the talk was of us trying to avoid relegation and things like that, and you just kind of, I know the Spurs being Spurs in terms of the fan base, but the expectations started off very, very low, and it wasn't really where I kind of thought we were going to be. I mean, the manager does come with prestige. He's won everywhere he's been, and I know people will say it's Scotland, oh, it's Japan, oh, it's Australia, but in those leagues, having to build a side in order to challenge to win the title surely says a bit about them, doesn't it?
It does, because it's still a winning mentality. Some would say that he goes with his own. He's got his own mindset. He won't change. But it did work in Japan. It worked in Scotland. It worked even in Australia, even within the Australian national team. It worked to a certain degree, and we've all got respect for him. I can't think of any player coming out and saying they weren't happy with his tactics or the way he worked with them. We've had one season of Ange, and I don't think we've seen all of Ange's yet. We've only been able to see what he's got to work with. He's had his of course, he had his frustrations for certain reasons, which are out of his control. So I think fifth was a great finish. I know we all want to do well in the cups, but sometimes it just doesn't click, does it? Things don't
Mm,
always click in cup competitions.
mm. Yeah,
No,
exactly that.
yeah, like we haven't really even got a striker. I know that's another that's a discussion we're going to have. We haven't really had a striker that's been able to play the whole season or majority. We've been switching. Well, we've been switching the front three or front four quite a bit to find what works
Mm,
best. So yeah, I think the main point was, where did you think where did I think we'd finish? I was thinking fifth or sixth. Some fans would
mm,
say we'll be lucky to avoid relegation, which I think is a bit harsh, because even with
mm.
the squad we've got, I don't think we're like a relegation team. You know, um,
Yeah,
yeah, I
exactly.
just think it's difficult. I think price tags, isn't it? Like Richarlison, you put
Mm,
price tag on him, but
mm.
injuries and being played out of position doesn't help.
No, it is.
I'd love a
No,
whole season
exactly,
of one striker. Getting like a whole
exactly.
season of playing up front, injury free. I know some players are more injury prone than others, but let's see if we get a whole season of one player. Like even our midfield we've had injury suspensions. You know, Asia Cup, African Cup of Nations. Players have been in and out, so it's very hard. It's very hard to say that. I think we've been successful on many things.
Mm,
It's just on paper, maybe not. League. I think fifth was pretty. We were
yeah,
only a few points off fourth, like 2 points. You know.
mm, exactly. Okay, we'll come on to that a bit more. We'll talk a bit more about in detail. But the first one, message we'll come to is well, one that I think a lot of our fan base are rightly proud of, because it has been a while since we've seen a lot of we've seen any kind of youth products shine on the big stage. Some may argue, but of course, I know this is a couple of weeks old, which is when we tried to get this all organised. That it was yeah, delay upon delay, mostly on my end. And but is this more of a case of what we kind of expect to come out of seeing the under 23 side win the Premier League 2 and also the
Yeah.
playoffs? The way they kind of done it is strange, but because you can't take part in the league, and then from the league the placings determine where you take part in the playoff place in order to win the whole thing. It's very American, I guess, but I guess that's the way things are going now. Did you watch much of the under 23s?
To be honest, I haven't watched much of it. I've followed their progression mostly, on social media or court highlights. But certain players have stood out, as potential players that we could be seeing, sitting on our bench or even getting chances. To be honest, I haven't watched enough of it to say that, oh, this player should be playing, this player shouldn't be playing. But you know, it's just what I've read. Who's
Mm,
doing well and who. who could potentially be seen as someone that could progress onto breakthrough, have a breakthrough season in the first team. Of course, you've probably seen more of them to be able to assess, who you think would be potentially a good fit to sit on Spurs bench or even get games, because there are gaps in our starting lineup where some of these young players could play. Some would say, some were saying that what's the harm of giving some of these young players a 4 or 5 game run in the Premier League. So yeah,
exactly.
I don't know if that I don't know if I would see them starting 4 or 5 games. They could come off the bench, or maybe if we really think a certain position we're not strong enough, what's the harm in giving young players a chance? We've had young players that have been in our academy or played in the under-21s years ago, and they've gone on to play for different teams and been successful, and they've come back, say for example, to the Premier League, or they've become starters in other leagues. So I just think, what's the harm in giving some of these players a chance?
Yeah, there is like a clamour of a few of our players really. I mean, Jamie Donnelly does stand out for a lot of Spurs fans. Obviously, our former striker that turned into a midfield maestro kind of plays a similar kind of role to the way James Maddison plays. But he also pops up with a few goals himself. And also our defensive midfielder. We've been having issues in the defensive midfield. Well, specialist number 6, I would say. Tyrese Hall kind of fits the bill in a way, and that's a lot of skill to go with it as well. That's one that everyone is talking about. Obviously, there's still a lot of growing to be done, and I guess the talk will be whether they deserve chance out on loan, or whether we want to throw them in as in the odd game, and especially in the cups and stuff. But I'm kind of wary about, especially with the development of players like Jaffa Tanganga, who we have let go. He's going to join Millwall, I presume, and Oliver Skip, who was I feel that our the way we kind of use these youngsters when they were young has kind of stunted their growth. So we have to kind of make our minds up whether if we're going to keep them, we're going to play them in a, not I'm decrying the quality of Premier League 2, but to play them at a higher level like Premier League. They come off the bench occasionally or whatnot, or play in the Europa League, or send them out on loan if we deem that they're good enough and decent enough to hold their own in maybe the Championship, or probably out in the Netherlands or Germany, place where they like to nurture the young talents. But we have quite a lot of youngsters there that I think should be getting the opportunity to play at a higher level, I would feel.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're talking about Oliver Skip. He's been given opportunities, but you're right. I think the defensive midfield role, and you're saying the number 6 role, in general, it's a big concern. I think because we've got lots of midfielders, but have we got one which is just going to be defensive minded and just break the game up? I know we've got. Yeah, I think that's one area we need to improve on. Whether it's, as you're saying, through the under 21s or under 23s, or as you say, we could find someone, but when is the right time to play them? 17, 18, 19. Sometimes I find Spurs are waiting till they're 20 or 21 to be even given an opportunity to sit on the bench. I think we just need to concentrate on our young players. There's some teams that are putting players in at 16, 17 in the Premier League, and those players are doing well. And, they're getting calls up to like international squads, and they're already playing. But I think there's no harm in having like a young young player from the academy play in that defensive role if we've got them. But there's no harm in giving them a few games instead of waiting, a year or two. Yeah, I think the loan system has worked well for us, but how are they doing on loan is important as well, or where they're playing, what league they're playing as well. I think experience, like these players could go to Germany and do pretty well. They could even go to Italy. It depends, Even our senior players, they do get interest from teams abroad, that aren't getting games. As like if we've got a forward player that's not playing, there's no harm. But I think we're a bit short in certain areas. Midfield, we've got lots of players, but have we got a defensive midfielder that can, break the game up and do these things, Yeah, it's difficult, because at the moment we're shifting players out bit by bit. Some players were saying, like, for example, Tanganga, he's basically gone. On Dombele, basically he's in the last year of his contract, or we're just he'll be a free transfer somewhere. So I don't know. Some players don't get enough of, I think.
Yeah, we'll come to
it's like they're asking for
moments,
assessment of how is this player done. What do you think? It's hard to say if a player hasn't played since 21. Yeah, but some players haven't actually played for 2 years. They've been on loan. We can't say that. Oh yeah, we think this, that, the other. It's the same up front. We've got players that are just going out on loan, like Troy Parrott. He's been out on loan a lot. Dane Scarlett, I know he's with us. He's back with us. He was back with us, wasn't he? He got some games, but he spent a loan system. He was at Portsmouth. I don't think he was always playing up front. I didn't catch many of his games, but some fans did catch him play at Portsmouth and said he did well. I think nowadays there's no such thing as a striker. There's more forward players, aren't there? Wide players that play in an attacking way, So yeah.
Yeah, it's funny you should mention that one, really. But considering that, especially in the under-23s, we do have young Iago Santiago, who everyone talks about. He's in his last year of his contract, I understand. He's 22 right now, and you kind of think that this is going to be his last chance. And if he's not knocking on the door, which is where I kind of worried with most of our youngsters, if they're not knocking on the door now, when will they? And if it's in his last year of his contract, will he sign up? And I know a lot of people saying he did well last season, but I guess at the age of 22, I guess if he's not knocking on the door now, like with some players as well, some other players might not get the opportunity. They might be looking to leave, or if they stay, or if they stay, they'll just get stunted. Just same with Tanganga and Skip, I feel. I know Skip has had a lot of injuries, so that's a little bit different, but it still feels like
Tanganga's been unlucky as well because he broke through. He had to come in, and Jose Mourinho just played him one game against Liverpool, and he was fantastic.
Yeah, I remember that, Davey.
It's so difficult because I think there's always room for him, Tanganga, but financially, I don't know if he's had a good loan system. He played. I think he had a very good game against Saints in the Championship, and he had lots of good games. But Skip and Tanganga are good examples. It's been stunted. I don't know how many games Skip's played in the Premier League. He's probably played quite a few. I don't know. Same thing happened to Harry Winks. He was getting games, but he in a way he was just like, has Harry Winks got a future? He goes. I think he went to Leicester, didn't he? And he's won the Championship with them, and he's coming back to the Premier League.
Crucial to them as well. Yeah, he's quite crucial to Leicester.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that Oliver Skip, all in all, from 2018, played 74 times for Spurs actually. and that's in
All competitions, or win the
in all
Premier League.
competitions.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's a
no,
lot of
that's all
games.
competitions. Well,
That's a lot of games.
2018 to 2018 to now, it's not really, is
Yeah,
it?
yeah. I think on Dombele alone played 63 games for Spurs in the Premier League and scored 6 or 7 goals.
Yeah.
But he hasn't played for 2 years, so
Yeah, exactly.
imagine if he was fit, committed. We don't know what we're going to get. You know, it's being linked with players who were at Spurs who are still of an age to come back. I don't know, to be honest. There's always talk of Marcus Edwards coming back because he looked good against us, but there's so many ex players that look good against us, but I don't necessarily see them coming back. Madueke, he was at Chelsea, he was at Spurs for a while, then he went to PSV, didn't he? He went to Holland, and then Chelsea signed him, and I don't know. He never got a chance at Spurs, but seems like he's still young enough to do well. So I think it's hard to see who's a talent, who we can keep hold of. See, oh yeah, definitely we can see the potential. Yeah, I think all over the pitch we should be looking to improve. But yeah, players need to go out before we can get players in.
So
It's
that
like,
leaves us.
yeah,
So that
it's
leads
like,
us neatly onto the next section. Carry on.
yeah, no, I'm saying that the team currently, fans would say, yeah, 4 or 5 players, definitely we can see them starting game in, game out, and we can see those players playing for any team in the Premier League. Usually most teams have a core, don't they? Keeper, defender, midfielder, striker, 4. So yeah, I think the current men's team, I think I can't say there's any Ange players in that team because he hasn't had a full. He's had a full season. He hasn't had a second season where you can say, "Oh, definitely that guy. I can see him playing my style of football." He's adapted players to play his style of football, and for the whole, I think it's difficult. Spurs have had managers who are tactically very good previously at other clubs, and they've tried to do that at Spurs and it hasn't worked. So I think we should discuss the men's team and see where
Yeah.
we see that we're going to make changes. Whether it happens is another question.
Yeah, exactly. And well, the men's team have, I guess, surprised quite a lot of people and quite a few Spurs fans as well. Really, with well, finishing fifth in the league in the first season under Andrew Postecoglou, I'd say it's a very good start, very good start to his career. Especially when a lot of people were saying there are chances that because Harry Kane had left, we were going to go down, which was kind of strange, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's a big hole to
In,
fill. The goals, the assists. You'd even say like the leadership, just the presence. It's like he was there for I don't know how many years. Say 15. Say 15. I don't know how many years in the Premier League. He was a constant and take away all the goals. It's a big thing to fill in. It's like trying to find a striker or a forward that's going to chip in with those type of goals. So I think we
yeah,
did really
and
well to get fifth. Yeah, we could have
yeah,
got a few more better results, but then at the end of the season, we did get some. We won games to get us to fifth. You know, even when we played Man City, even if we'd won that game, it would have been an extra 3 points. And if we won our last 3 games, we would have got Champions League football because Aston Villa seemed like they just they put they took their foot off the pedal. Villa could have won their last game of the season. maybe they were very comfortable knowing that, you know, we basically qualified for fourth. It's an achievement with the team we've got. So, yeah, so fifth this season, next season, depends. It depends who goes in and out. We may, if we get fifth again next season, I'd be happy because we don't know what the competition is going to be like. We don't know who's going to be pushing us for the top four. There might be like a surprise team. There might be a player that's been dormant at a club and he just has a fantastic goal scoring season.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, especially for Spurs now, especially seeing where we go from here. My personally, as I said, I was quite happy with how we finished. I was quite happy with the campaign that we had, and I was quite happy with how we went about it. We instituted a new style of play, which a lot of Spurs fans were asking for. They wanted to see more attacking football, and they got that. And I know now there's kind of switch to we're far too open, but I guess I've always kind of known about Ange, and at the time we're going to be given the opportunity to implement that style. And as you've mentioned, we haven't actually got Ange style players that could effectively carry that off. So considering the squad that they had and the ideas he tried to put forward, I say he actually did quite well. And I guess we're both saying they did quite well. And you expected it to be like top 5. I expected us to be as high as possible. So I guess we kind of got what we wanted.
Yeah,
so that was our expectations. I don't know if we want to give like ratings for the players. I mean,
no, we could. I think a lot of people and groups and channels, they do give players ratings. I just think it'd be unfair to start giving players ratings. You may give a certain player a 8, and I might think, oh well, that's fair. But we could. I don't know. I haven't really thought about giving players ratings because, as you know, we've had injuries. We've had players that have come in and out of the squad. There's some players like, of course, the goalkeeper. He's played every game. That hasn't happened since I can't remember the last time Spurs keepers had 38 games in goal. So in terms of that, I think we can assess the keeper we've got. I think Vicario, he did pretty well. They're saying that he wasn't commanding enough. There's been situations where he could have got the ball, but it's difficult. It was his first season. He was an unknown, wasn't he? Think about it. Even when he built up his career in Italy, he wasn't playing in the top division there. He worked his way up, and
he was. What I mean, the Vicario.
Yeah, he didn't play in. He worked his way up. Yeah, he
did. Yeah,
people knew of him, but it took him, I don't know how many years to go. Okay, I'm going to be playing in goal for a well-known team. So I think for him, it's not even about money. I think his abilities were already known in Italy, and as you know, in terms of international football for Italy, it's hard to get past Donnarumma in terms of starting games. So I don't think Donnarumma is playing in the most competitive league. So I think if Donnarumma played in the Premier League for a team like Spurs or like a top 4 team, that would be the real, litmus test to see how good he really is. I think Vicari's done pretty well. He's done pretty well.
Vicari's number 2 in Italy, as you say, isn't he? So
yeah, he's the number 2, isn't he? So that's with most teams. It's hard to get past most teams' number 1s. But that's a different question. That's international football. In terms of Premier League, we've got Vicario, and then we've got the keepers we've got.
I suppose, in that case, I mean, in terms of the goalkeepers we've got, we guess we're seeing Vicario as number 1. I know a lot of people aren't happy with Fraser Forster. He'll be gone at the end of next season, I think.
Exactly.
He signed a
He
two-year
I
contract,
don't
didn't he?
don't think he's one of those
so
long-term signings. He was just he was there because of experience, but so was Joe Hart. Joe Hart was there, wasn't he? Because of his experience.
mm,
When he said, "Oh, he's
yeah,
going to play tons of games,"
yeah, exactly.
whatever his contract was, he went off to Celtic and he's won numerous trophies now there. But the point is, I think all other keepers, they're inexperienced, or you wouldn't see them. Well, they'd have to come in if there's an injury. I think most teams they've got two well-known keepers. Some teams have got three or four. Like Man City, they've got a keeper sitting there that's got 12 trophies and he's played like 30 minutes of football. Scott Carson, I think, Scott Carson.
Yeah.
It happens, but I think we could do with an experienced keeper. It depends the budget, isn't it? Who can we get in? Not too old, not too young. But
I guess that's where Austin comes in. He signed a new contract for another 5 years, isn't he? So
he has, yeah. Austin, and we've got Alfie Whiteman. Yeah. So yeah,
will he still be with us?
I don't know. I haven't checked, but yeah, I know Austin signed a new contract.
Well, I suppose that so that's I guess we got the goalkeepers covered, so we know who. I guess it's 1, 2, and 3 for at least next season at least. Defenders then. We had a few changes. Van der Ven came in, of course, Mickey van der Ven, and I guess a lot of people were when he first signed. I remember very well in the group, especially in the group, he was tagged as a cheap option because everybody wanted Tap Sober. They also wanted
Tap Sober, yeah.
There was somebody else that they wanted as well. That and when Van der Ven was revealed, it was like even though that's what Ange wanted, it was seen as Levy skimping out. So what do you think of our young Dutch defender?
Defender.
Not too bad the first season,
player. Well, he's the quickest player in the Premier League, apparently, speed-wise. I think Mickey van der Ven, on the whole, has done very well. He's majority of the time he's been commanding. He's versatile. He can score a goal. He can pass the ball. He can tackle. Of course, I think he's had a great season. If we nitpick, if there's been games where he got totally bossed, didn't he? I don't know what game it was when he made 2 or 3 mistakes against, I don't know who we're playing. Newcastle, I think. Was it Newcastle? But
yes, Newcastle.
You could say that's a one-off. And at the start of the season, I think I thought, this guy, he's making a mistake in his first game of the season. He's not going to do well. But then after that, he was amazing. I think he's made hardly any mistakes, really. So good. I think a very good signing. I won't say it's a cheap signing. I can't think who the other defenders we were linked with before, apart from Edmund Sober. I don't know who else we're linked with.
It escaped my memory right now. There was 2 players this year, wasn't it? Tap Sober and somebody people were thinking we should get at the same time at one point.
Tap Sober's done well, hasn't he? To be honest, he stayed where he was, and
he's at Bayer Leverkusen, isn't he? And
he's still Leverkusen, and he's won the title. So Leverkusen,
German Cup, just missed out on Europa League.
Yeah, they got.
I guess that's why.
Very good defender, But, even if that's over, that would have been. He would have probably been more difficult to sign. I think with Mickey van der Ven, you can. I think a very good signing, and then it depends who he's partnered with, isn't it? He's been partnered with an improved Romero, a very improved Romero. Karma Romero.
He hasn't been too bad, actually. Exactly. I don't think we'll ever see the day when Romero has less yellow cards than it was crazy, really. Let's say he's
He
improved
had,
that side of him, but at the same time, he
yeah,
hasn't lost the aggression, which is good. That's what I was more afraid
yeah.
of.
I think he's balanced it. I think yesterday, I think there was an international game, wasn't there? And he got an assist
Mm,
against El
he
Salvador,
did,
I think.
yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't really been following, but
Ecuador,
I
it's on the
think,
screen right now.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think centre backs. Who have we got? Well, of course, we've got the two first choice, haven't we? We've got Van der Ven and
And
we've got Romero.
Radu Dragusin,
Oh,
who
Dragozin,
hasn't
yes.
done too badly when he came on. Yeah, when he came on, and I think when who was it that was injured? It was Udogi was injured for the last 3 games of the campaign, and did very well at left back, which I was kind of against at the time because I thought that he's brought in as a specialist defender. He can play that. No, he played the centre back, didn't he? It was Van der Ven that played as left back, and
Yes.
yeah, I was against Van der Ven playing as a left back because I think he's a specialist defender, but he played very well there. But obviously, in terms of positioning himself, it was kind of found wanting occasionally. But he could do a
Yeah.
job there. But Rado Dragosin, when he came on and played at centre back, you could see the qualities that he had there. I mean, he's only 22, but the most calm 22-year-old you'll ever see on a pitch. And we're building, especially in defence, we're building quite young. I know Romero is 25 now, but yeah, still quite young, and building quite a young defence that actually has the courage to do what Postecoglou is asking of them. Really, it's good to see.
Yeah.
Really,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Of course, we've got Dragozin. We've got Romero, Van der Ven. I think that didn't Roden have like what we extended his contract by 1 year. Joe Roden,
yes.
a
Hmm.
forgotten man. He's had quite a few
Well,
loan deals, hasn't he?
that's just
Yeah.
yeah, but I think he's going to be sold as soon as Leeds find the money. So
Yeah.
chances are, yeah, we won't see him in his first
Disappointing,
year
isn't
again.
it? You always think, oh, strong, tall British defender. You want him to do well, but yeah, you're probably right. He'll be sold. So those,
Mm.
so those are like the three centre backs, or we've got like Dragozin. We see him getting games. Van der Ven, and you've got Romero. Um,
Mm.
and then we
And then of
go to
course
the wing
the
backs,
full
or
backs.
yeah,
Yeah,
fullbacks, yeah,
yeah, fullbacks, wing backs. It's hard to say. I mean, they're down
yeah.
as
Because there's no
fullbacks, but
such
they
thing
play
as a
like wing
right
backs,
back now.
because
Like they all talk about wing backs for
nah,
fullbacks now. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly. How do you think they've done? It is mostly Pedro Porro and Destiny Udogi Ionoma. That's his full name,
yeah,
but
that's
Destiny
just
Udogi is his name.
Nigerian. Yeah, well, Nigerian roots, isn't it?
Oh yes,
Uh,
oh yes. Where's
um,
that flag of mine? Anyway,
yeah,
carry on. Sorry.
yeah. What I'm saying, I think Destiny has done pretty well. He already was an attacking wing back or fullback already. Um,
Mm,
I think generally he did well, but that's the system that Ange plays. At times, Destiny was in midfield. He was in the central midfield role quite a lot, but that's because Porro and him were pushing so forward. Because Ange likes as many attacking options as possible. I think generally he did well. Of course, he had
mm,
injuries. I think his performances were very good as well. Destiny,
mm,
because generally just him at left wing back. Davis he played a few games, but I wouldn't say Ben Davis is a wing back. At best, we've
no.
known him to be a left back or centre back, and he does
Mm,
okay. So yeah, of course,
yeah.
Destiny is
It,
he's the first choice. So he's like a first choice left back, isn't he? Or sort of a left
mm,
wing back, and it's just what we've got as backup for
mm.
cup games.
That's that's where the issue comes in, isn't it? The backup. I guess
Yeah,
that's
it's
what
like
should be
players like
addressed.
we're
Mm,
putting Emerson Royale there. Well, I mean,
What's your thoughts
I
on them?
don't
Because
think
I know a lot of people.
I like the
I know a lot of
guy.
people are kind of like
I
a.
think he works hard. I think he works hard in those
Mm,
positions. He's not a natural wing back.
mm,
He's and he's not a natural centre back. But I think he did okay. I think fans
mm,
they just see one or two bad performances and they get on his back. I like the guy. I think
mm.
he's a capable player. Um, but do you think it's a good thing buying a player and then a few seasons later trying to having to sell him? I don't think it's good for team morale. I think around the team, I think he's a very positive person, isn't he?
He
Emerson
is.
Rowe,
Yeah,
he's
they
like,
seem to
oh
love him.
yeah, they love him because I think he just likes being part of that team. But yeah, I think wing backs they're like attacking players, aren't they? Defensively, I think Destiny's still young. He can improve on his defending skills. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
at right wing back we've got more options, I suppose, because I think Pedro Porro is a fantastic player, um, but there's a reason why he didn't get into the Spain team because his defense. I think at Spurs he's defended well, but in terms of Spain, they've picked three defensive-minded fullbacks who are much older than him. They picked Nacho, they
mm,
picked Danny Carvajal, and of course Jesus Navas, who's like 30, 34, 35, or maybe 36.
yeah,
People say, why
yeah.
isn't Porro in there? And I explain why. Spain have got three fullbacks or defenders who can defend. Of course, I would have taken Porro if I was Spain, of course, but there's a reason why he didn't
Mm.
make it. He's just, I think he defended okay for Spurs, and yeah, he just turned up. I think for some game, quite a few games, he's turned up with goals or tackles. Or he's done something like a turn, and he's changed the game. When fans were getting frustrated with and saying that he's not making the change or why aren't we
Yes.
making changes? But
Mm.
that's a big issue. Like whatever manager we've had, we're saying that about Conte or why isn't he making a change? But I suppose that's the past. Conte was vocal. He was very frustrated with the system.
Isn't he always?
Yeah, but then Mourinho, compared to the old Mourinho, we know he said things, but he was more diplomatic. He was what do you call the sensible one. So I think
Mm.
yeah, I think we've got Porro. He's done well,
Yeah.
and he's scoring goals.
And
So
then, yeah, well, who can forget that goal against Burnley in the FA Cup?
yeah,
Thunderbolt from 35 yards. Great strike. Great
yeah.
strike. Okay, so that's the defense. Midfield. I mean, this is
Oh
where I
my
guess
god,
we've had
this
the
the position which
issues, isn't it?
frustrates me the most. It's the one that
Yes.
we have. Yeah, so frustrating.
Mm.
I mean, in terms of
Uh,
defensive-minded midfielders, so difficult. I think Pierre Emil Højbjerg, I think he does a good job, but fans think he doesn't do enough. He's always passing back. He's always tracking back. It's hard to say.
well, like I say, it's passing back that was the issue in the last few games he played, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Blimey, it was
yeah,
passing back that led to us conceding against Newcastle, us almost
yes,
conceding
it
against who was
does.
it?
Yeah,
Was it Liverpool? Was it? Can't remember now. But
I remember when he first
I think
came
it's
in, he was
the
playing.
playing safe is what it was.
Yeah, I think when he first came in from Southampton, he was just doing what he's known for, just looking for a pass and breaking up the game. And I don't think we had anything bad to say about him because we knew his limitations. He's a defensive midfielder, stroke, central midfielder, passes the ball, breaks the game up. He can put a tackle in. But I think what happened
Mm,
is as you know, we've had managerial changes quite often. So he didn't
mm.
know will he be playing, and he wasn't always starting games because we were trying new players out. So I think is he going to be sold? Maybe, but if he's going to be sold, who's going to replace him? Some fans would say, "Oh, but we've got Sarr, we've got Basuma." Um,
The
yeah,
issue with those is that they're not number sixes, and that's what people seem to be crying out for. That we want a specialist number six. So if it's a case
yeah.
of Højbjerg, I'm
Someone
thinking
like
it's more.
pushing forward like a Patrick Vieira
Yeah.
or even
Mm.
Yaya Toure. You know, that's how I see Sarr. He's pushed. I like Sarr. I think he's developing, but you have to let him just be free. Just give him the reins, just to run with the ball. He does scare defenses. So I think we need a defensive, what they call a number 6, or is it a number 6? Yeah. So I think
number 6,
that. Yeah. I don't know about Basuma, to be honest. Difficult because
he's not a 6. He's further forward.
I think it's a difficult season because he's been sent off twice.
Yes.
He's been sent off for whatever reason. He's not. It's difficult, isn't it? Because you want a central midfielder and you want a defensive midfielder playing together, and you want an attacking midfielder or a central attacking midfielder. So it's difficult.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be getting one of those soon in the summertime. But I mean, that's that has to be sorted out soon, isn't it? Because
even when we had Eriksen, when he wasn't an attacking midfielder, he was still a central midfielder. You know, he could just. It's like talking about past players like Modric. He was always a central midfielder. He was, of course, at Real Madrid, he's become one of the best defensive midfielders in the world. But he never was defensive. He's progressed into a defensive role after he's realised, okay,
only as he's gotten older.
Same with Gerrard. You can say about even Cruz at Real Madrid. They're always I just think we need. I don't know. Maybe in theory, maybe one or two. We need 2 central midfielders, and then it's hard to assess how Basuma's done because it's been up and down. Sarr, I don't know how many. Sarr's played quite a few games. I think he's done fine. It's just the other midfielders. I think where
I guess we don't actually have a real specialist defensive kind of player. I mean,
Basuma, that's it.
I know he started off that way. But you didn't really start off that. I mean, that's kind of the position he was in. But then he moved forward a lot. He just happened to have a good tackle on him, but he's not a 6. That's what people. A 6 is what we need in the Ange system, really. Someone who could just anchor the midfield and then let everybody else play. You know, like I know it's going to be kind of dating me now, but Brazil in 1982, where they had Socrates. Was it Socrates? He just used to sit there, and everybody else used to play off. He used to protect the midfield. No, he wasn't.
I think Socrates. He used to sit what they call a quarterback in American football. Someone who sits there. You know, the ones that like a defensive playmaker, not even like an attacking. I know what you mean. I think
that's kind of play that we need in the Ange system.
£1 million to get Declan Rice, whether you think he's a good player or not, he does that job well, whether it's for England or West Ham or wherever it's for. We haven't got that, unfortunately, and even teams around us who aren't as high up in the league, they've got players who are defensive midfielders, and they've got 2 or 3 of them. But it's the level, you know. Some teams have got capable. They've got 3 capable defensive midfielders. If one's injured, another one comes in, and then you don't see the difference. But we've only got 1 potentially, or actually 2. You got Højbjerg, but he hasn't. Ange doesn't see him as a starter. I think if Højbjerg played the whole season as a defensive midfielder, and Ange got him to think, you know, go back to the Southampton days, the Bayern Munich days, or with Denmark, he's always looking forward and passing the ball. I don't know at Spurs, I don't know what it is that. I don't know why players that are known for passing the ball forward want to pass it back. He's not always anymore. He loved to pass the ball back. I never understood it, but I think to assess our central midfield, I think Basuma did okay. I think Sarr had a good season, and Højbjerg in and out. And who else have we had who's played centrally? I can't think of anyone else. Oh, Skip, I suppose.
Skip as well. I was gonna say, just so I could comment, we talked about the youth coming through earlier, and in the show, just basically stressing that either we give them a chance or we send them out on loan. So we'll see what happens in the summertime with that one. Yeah, so that's I guess central defense, central midfield, which is kind of like an issue that needs to be sorted out. But attacking midfield, this is I guess where the fun kind of is. I mean, I guess you have Madison, you have Lo Celso, you have uh
Hill, Brian Hill. I don't know if
is
he's. I don't know what.
right.
I don't know what his position
Yeah,
is.
is he a winger? Is he an attacking midfielder? I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I know
well,
he's played mostly on the wing, but he didn't really do
Lamelo
too
used to
much
be a
on the
winger,
wing.
then he became a attacking midfielder, then he became a central midfielder.
Mm,
But yeah, but it's fine if you've got what I call a quality utility player. They can play anywhere.
mm,
Yeah, I think we've really just got Madison really in that attacking midfield. I
mm,
know they are fans of Lascelles, so I just don't. I don't see even when he was on loan. Yeah, he has one or two good games, but if you're not playing someone consistently, how are you going to know if he's going to be a quality player? I think Madison, he had a very good start, then he had an injury, and he admits he hasn't been the same. I haven't seen the same quality, and it shows in his stats. You know, you'd expect an attacking midfielder like Madison, even if he's had an injury, to maybe get 8 to 10 goals in the Premier League. You know,
mm,
even like if we go back to attacking midfielder Spurs had, like we had Ericsson. Yes, he tried to hit 9 goals a season, and he did it a few times.
mm,
We went Dele Alli. I think he had one season where I think he hit 19 goals from central from attacking midfield, or maybe even more than that. But then he struggled as
mm.
well. But that's another question. I think we need someone like a Dele Alli or a Ericsson, really, whether they're declining. I think Dele Alli's still young enough to come back
Mm.
to Spurs with
You
all
think
the
so?
issues. Yeah, I think he's a quality player, but it's the same thing. Jose Mourinho hit the nail on the head. Dele, you're the laziest player I've ever seen. People talk about Ndombele being lazy, but we know Dele does not like to train. He's not a trainer. You know, he does not train. I'm not saying bring Dele back, but there's players at the age of Dele Alli that we could target with experience. But um, I think personally, Kulusevski would make a good central attacking midfielder. When he's had to play in there, he gets in that pocket. He can pass the ball well. He hasn't got the pace, but he's got the vision and he can get in the box. But that's another question, isn't it? I think that Dayan could be an attacking midfielder. We won't have to buy one. He could play second fiddle to Madison. I don't think all attacking midfielders got pace. Look at Juan Mata, he had no
Mm,
pace, but he was a fantastic passer with the ball. Yeah,
mm.
I'm trying to think of players that have converted. Even David Silva, they said he was a winger, but he was actually a central midfielder or an attacking midfielder. And yes, he had a bit of pace. Even Bernardo
Yeah,
Silva, they're saying he's a winger, but generally he's a centrally. Yeah, it's just we haven't got anyone after Madison. Is
guess that's
even when
where
Madison came in, I was like,
yeah,
oh, it's Madison. He said this about Gareth Bale. He's got an attitude, but as soon as I saw his interview and I saw him play, I thought he fits in. He fits in. He hasn't really got any problems off the pitch. Some players they got an ego, they get into trouble. I don't think James Madison really gets into trouble. Just plays football, loves darts, and that's it. Well, I think we need someone else in that attacking midfield role. People going on about certain players at Chelsea that would improve us, but I don't know. I don't know what you think about James Madison. I think he's a fantastic player, but he's 28, isn't he now? He needs to kick on, have it like, you know,
27. Yeah.
27, 28.
Um, yeah. I think first 10 games absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And then he
Reminded
got
you of
that
like Dele
really
Alli at
bad
his peak,
injury.
he was everywhere.
Yeah,
So
yeah. But then he hasn't really come back from that injury. There was a
very
I can't
disappointing.
remember because I can't remember which channel I was watching. But somebody, a guest actually on there said that yes, it wasn't a guest. I think it was someone that wrote in said that they had Leicester friends, and they said that you only get about 10 good games a season from James Madison, and that's it. So I'm not quite sure whether that's just hindsight or whatever, but the fact that I kind of like put it down to the fact that he was injured for quite a while, and it's taken him a while to get his groove back. And we sort of started seeing a little bit of signs of that in the last 4 or 5 games of the season,
Yeah,
where he was slowly getting back to his normal self. But yeah, when he came back from the injury, those was it 10 games that he was either on coming off of on the bench,
yeah,
didn't look good, didn't look good at all, and
yeah. I
that was
admit
kind
he
of the
did not
issue.
look good, and
Mm,
yeah, you give players, as a midfielder, you give them all, and he needs a couple of games, 3 or 4 or 5. If a striker's injured, you're like, oh, okay. After 2 or 3 games, we need to see him do well. But even, yeah, I think he's struggled. Unfortunately, we haven't got adequate backup, but I don't think that's Ange's fault. He's used what he's got. Lo Celso has to come on, or Hill has to come on, or Kulishevsky can play
actually,
there. I
yeah, that's the thing. When
think
Lascelles did come on, sorry, when Lascelles did come on, he actually did quite well. And I know he only
yeah,
had
he
like
did well.
10, 15, 20 minutes to show his stuff, but he didn't disappoint in a way. But
Yeah.
didn't really
I,
grab the
I
ball by the
think
horns
there's
either, did he?
fans of Lo Celso and people. I'm fond of Lo Celso. I'm trying to see
Mm,
the positive. I think he's a good player. I
mm,
don't know. I think I just want my attacking midfielder to be strong, powerful, be able to tackle, do everything. I think Lo Celso can pass the ball, he can run with the ball. Um,
mm,
yeah, I think. If you don't, we don't know what's going to happen. If we don't sign anyone else, we've got backup in the attacking midfield.
mm,
Yeah, I don't think
yeah.
every player has to think. We have to think our secondary attacking midfielder has to be a starting level, because I suppose maybe our squad's smaller. Even the top two, they may have options as attacking players, which we don't. So yeah, Madison, Lo Celso, whoever else.
I
I
don't think
think
Lascelles is staying there, is he?
no, he's probably going to go to. I don't know. He's going to go back to Spain
Real Betis or something. Yeah.
or Betis or Vigo, Celta Vigo. I don't know. You know.
Mm,
Yeah, so we've really
I
got one
mean,
attacking. Yeah.
pretty much.
If you break it down,
And
we haven't really got the depth in midfield, whether it's central or attacking.
so what about the depth up front then? Because in theory we just kind of played with the 3 forwards all season.
Mm.
I suppose, yeah. I mean, I'm doing Richarlison a disservice. I mean, when he came on, when he started, he was pretty
Yeah,
much
I think his stats were pretty good. I think 11 goals and
yeah,
13 starts or something, which is very good.
exactly,
I'll take that.
exactly. But then he ended
I
the
think it's
season
that
injured.
stop-start thing. When we signed him, he
Mm,
played lots of games on the left with Harry Kane starting or whoever starting ahead of him, which
mm,
it kind of ate into his stats and made it look like he's doing really badly. But I think he's done well. He's had injuries. He's had personal problems. I just want a full
mm,
season of Richarlison scoring goals. We know he can assist. We know he does what I like. He can hold the ball up. He can rough up
mm,
defenders. That's what I want. Like Les
mm,
Ferdinand used to rough players up and hold the ball and score
yeah.
goals. I think in terms of strikers, we've got, in terms of pure striker, we've got Richarlison, because that's what he does for Brazil.
Mm,
He plays up front. He doesn't mess around with playing on the left, because that's what happens to Martinelli or Jesus. They have to play on the left if Richarlison's starting for Brazil. So yeah, there's
mm,
him, and
yeah.
of course we've got young players. And I think the problem is, even with Werner, I think he's a striker, but we all know the problem is finishing. You know,
I don't know
oh
if he's a
yes,
striker as such. It seems to be more like
I
a
think
he's
when
more
he
like a
started
forward, I
off
would
and
say.
he was playing in Germany
Oh,
at
yeah.
Leipzig, he was a striker. And of course, when
He
he
was really
came
central,
to
wasn't
the
he? Yeah.
Premier League, we came to Premier League. I think Chelsea, they treated him pretty badly. They didn't utilize his skills. He went back, and then we got him on loan, and I think he had a good season. He had a good,
Mm.
like a mini season. He's come in on loan and he's played on the left. He's got an assist. He's got a few
Yeah,
assists and he's got a goal. You know,
his
yeah,
numbers
you're
can
right.
stack
He's
up
not
quite well,
strong.
don't they? It's just like, oh, there's a bit of feedback there. Yeah, I mean, his numbers stack up quite well, really, but at the same time, he has missed quite a bit, as we say.
He's
So
missed quite a
yeah,
few.
it's
Yeah, imagine if he took a few more
mm,
of those. Yeah, well, I mean, he's not a striker, but he's a forward. forward's different to what a winger is now. So I think they've evolved now. There's quality forwards in the Premier League. Like you consider Son, he's a forward, he's not a striker. He's a winger stroke attacker. So yeah, I think we've got Richarlison, and then we've got young players, lots of young players. Velez, Dane Scarlett, and as you say, we've got even guys that did well in the Premier League 2, and you got those type of players. Will any of those get a chance? I don't know. I think we need another striker. I mean, we could be linked with a whole host of strikers. There's like fans that there's people that like Ivan Toney for X, Y, and Z. Fair enough. There's people that like Jimenez at Jimenez. He's playing in Holland, isn't he?
Jimenez.
Santiago
Jimenez. Yes, he does. He plays for the finals.
I've got to play. I'd say just give Solanke a chance. I know he's only had one really good season at Bournemouth, but the guy has got a pedigree. There's a reason why Chelsea signed him at a young age. There's a reason why Liverpool signed him. He didn't get a chance, but I don't see Bournemouth saying, all right, okay, take him for 50, 60, because someone like we need a target man. I'd say we need someone like Harry Kane. There's only one Harry Kane. There's only one Lewandowski. There's only one Haaland. You talk about target. I think this suits Spurs to have a target man, and just get quality wingers in that can cross the ball or chip in with goals. But yeah, I think we've just got Richarlison. I think Richarlison can hold the ball. He can tackle. I just think he's still. Someone said to me they want Richarlison to do well. So do I. I think he will do well, but he needs support. Yeah. For example, if Richarlison's the main striker, that's fine, but we need someone else.
Speaking of someone else and support, Sonny, a very mixed season for him. Obviously became captain this season when Kane left. Yeah. And I'll say mixed season, but he still scored a lot of goals and had a few assists. But wasn't really the
he had 17 goals in the Premier League.
Yeah. Wasn't really the vintage Heung-min Son that we know of, was it?
No, but somehow I think he just kept on going. I think captaincy doesn't really suit him. Really nice guy, but your captain needs to be a bit more. He can't be your friend. I think you think of most captains at most teams that they're not known for being nice guys. They're not. I'm sure he's vocal. I'm sure he's vocal behind closed doors. I don't know what he's saying to them. But then we've got vice captains like James Maddison. He likes to talk. Romero, maybe. We see him on the pitch. He's aggressive. So maybe Maddison or Romero who we make captain. Sonny, I think he's probably got another. I don't know how many seasons he's got left in him. 2 or 3. He keeps fit. He's very good. He's considered one of the top forwards. Yeah, sort of thing. I think he had a good season. He could have had a better season. I just think there's more goals in Son. I think it's easy to criticise him. He does a lot of good things, but at the end of the day, he's a striker or a forward. He's going to be wasteful, but I think at times his decision making this season could have been better. I think I don't know. People saying that he that chance he had against City, he should have buried it, but you have to give the keeper a lot of respect. That's their He's a top keeper. I know he's their number 2, but you can't get part. There's a reason why he came in after an injury. So I think Sonny's finishing is probably one of the best in the Premier League. But I think he had a difficult season. He had to take up the mantle of Harry Kane leaving. He had to become captain. He had to play up front. He had to play on the right. He could even play behind a striker. I think he had a pretty good season. And then it's like the competition on the left. Who have we got? I don't know what's happened with Solomon. I don't know what the situation is with Solomon.
He's currently injured at the moment. But it's kind of like mirrors his how he was at Fulham the last season, where he had 5 or 6 good games and was injured for the most of it. I mean, when he
Yeah,
played, oh, who did play against? It was Burnley, wasn't it? He came on Burnley away
yeah,
at the very start, and
yeah.
he was full of tricks. He was very direct. He had the skill. He had the
Yeah,
speed,
when I
and
heard we're
I'm
getting
sure
him on a
he.
free, I thought, wow, what a bargain, a free
Mm,
transfer of a quality player. But people forget he's had injuries and yeah, Fulham, all the goals he scored were like phenomenal goals, like what Gareth Bale used to do. He just used to score goals out of nowhere. But so yeah, I think he's injured. I don't know what's happening. He was a free transfer, so I don't know what his thing is. So we got in theory we've got Solomon, Timo
if he's staying,
Werner.
that is.
Yeah, I mean Timo Werner has signed, so we've got Timo Werner
Yeah,
on the left as a left forward or attacker, and then you've got I don't what's happening with Brian Hill. Is he a left foot winger? Is he a right winger? Is he a striker? Is he a midfielder? I don't know. So
I
we got
think that's where
options,
the
but
issue lies. And when it,
if we
mm,
had someone as good or close to Son as backup, you can always say, "Oh, Son can play up front." Then we've got Richardson, Son. Fine, we've got 2 strikers for now, but we've only got 1 striker, and we've got lots of forwards. And then I suppose, yeah, we
that's
talked
good.
about Son,
Well,
haven't we? Yeah, they've got to talk about what options we've got on the right side. Got quite a lot of options.
well, the main
So,
one at the moment is Brennan Johnson, isn't it?
yeah,
And another one who's coming for a lot of criticism from the Spurs fan base and from certain commentators. But again, yes, he's a young guy, 22 years old, stepping into a new team, a new
yeah,
setup, new management, new everything, new system, and the
yeah,
numbers again that he's put up, again, very decent
pretty
for
good.
a first season.
I think people
Mm,
forget, like even Aaron Lennon, it took a while for him to improve his crossing. He had the speed, but he didn't have the crossing. And over the
mm,
years, Aaron Lennon turned into a reliable and very good winger for Spurs, and he scored lots. He scored goals, he assisted. So I think for a first season, I think he's done very well. Brennan Johnson, I think you can't compare him to other players. He's just himself, isn't he? There's only one
mm,
Brennan Johnson. You could say, oh, we had Welsh wingers before that have done pretty
mm,
well. Take Gareth Bale, even Simon Davis. He had a run in the team all those years ago when he did pretty well. But I think in those days they were wingers. They were there just across the ball. Brennan Johnson has to do so much more. He has to be a forward as well. Yeah.
sorry, carry
So
on.
yeah,
Mm.
we've got Brennan Johnson, and then we've got Kulishevsky, I suppose, on the right. And I don't know what else who we really got.
How do you think Kulusevski's done this season? Or the last season, I should say.
I think he's done okay. It's the start of the season. Everyone goes, oh, he's going to do fantastic. He's going to score more goals than Saka. He's going to assist more than Saka. It's like when you start comparing
Mm,
Saka to Kulishevsky, they're 2 different players. I just think he did okay. As I was saying
mm,
to you, I think he'd be better centrally as an attacking midfielder. Don't have to worry about him being up and down with pace. Just centrally, he might be better because I think, to be honest, some of his best work is when he cuts in and he gets more central. You know,
mm.
Brendan Johnson's better trying to whip the ball in as a winger or you know. So I think he's an okay. As we said, we're not going to look into things like ratings. I think he did well. It's like I don't know. I think what a lot of people forget, to be a professional footballer or be a Premier League football, it's at that 0.0001%. You don't know how hard it is to do those things.
Mm,
We just
yeah.
think, oh yeah, Haaland just flicking goals in like that. It's easy.
Mm,
But yeah, I think I think it's a money thing as well. Who can we get in? Who can we replace? Why would we want to replace a player who's only 24 years old? I think he's 24, isn't he?
mm.
Kulajewski, I don't see him going.
He
Oh,
is,
so I
yeah.
think we've forgotten about the midfield. We've got Bentancur. We didn't talk about Bentancur. You know, you
Yeah,
know,
becoming it's
we didn't really go
certainly
into
a
the
good
Matty
season for
Cash thing,
Benjamin.
trying to
Yeah.
injure another Spurs player. I'm not going to, he injured Bentancur and he injured someone else that was out for ages the season
Mm,
before. We got Bentancur as well, I think, in midfield. It's difficult, isn't it? He had an injury and problems, and he doesn't be the same.
Yeah.
You just expect them just to be just a click again, and they don't.
Yeah, exactly. It would take time, especially from an injury like that, which is quite a bad one.
On paper, yes,
Well,
you want Bentancur with Basuma, in theory, in central midfield. But it's not played on paper, unfortunately. I quite like Sarr. Sarr would play with someone. I think pick Sarr with someone. But yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, we're talking about wide areas. I don't know who else we've got.
I think that's pretty much nailed on, isn't it? For what we have, yeah.
I know. And then we talked about front. It is scary. We've got no options up front. I mean, as a striker, of course, we've got Richarlison. We've got younger players, but it's not enough. And it takes time to get rid of players or loan players out or assess. I think Ange knows what he wants. Even at Celtic, if you look at the players he had up front.
Furukashi. Was it Furukawa? Was that his name? The Japanese player?
Furukashi, Japanese forward.
Yeah.
We did pretty well, but I wouldn't say he had the numbers of a Harry Kane or a Son or a even, Furukashi, and he had some other I think a lot of Celtic, generally, those players that he had in there were more ball winners, like he had that in midfield, he had ball winners that would score goals, but this is the Scottish League. They would score more goals compared, like, if we put, I don't know, James Maddison into a Celtic team in an attacking midfield role, he'd get 25 goals. Compared to whoever was playing in there. So, yeah, I think right back, as we said, wing backs, what we know, we've got two starters, they're pretty young. Centre backs, it's a pretty young. Keeper, in terms of age, you'd say he's experienced, but it's his first season. He played every game.
Yeah.
Midfield, centrally, I think that's a worrying area for me. Second midfield, we haven't got enough cover. Up front, we haven't really got many options. In terms of the wide areas, we've got options. It's just who's going to play, who's going to be fit, who's leaving. I don't even know what's happening with Jed Spence, to be honest. Another young player, which we saw. I wouldn't see any. Didn't get many games, and he went on loan, didn't he? I think he went to played in France, and he went to Leeds. I think. Was he at Leeds? I don't know where he went, but I know Rodon went to Leeds. So Velez may come back and become a goal-scoring machine. We don't know. But he's at an age, well, he's 21, isn't he? He needs to kick on or start playing games or just. You see, he clicks playing in Spain because he's playing with other South American or Spanish speaking players. So sometimes he clicks, and maybe that's the league he should be in. But
Well, yeah, that's the. I guess we kind of covered the team there. What we think of them. There has been a poll that we do on the group where we pick our player of the season, and it might be an interesting one if I'm able to share that.
Yes.
Let's have a look at that. Okay. And this is it. As you can see, currently, I think there's still a few hours left on that one in the group. So if you're on Facebook, it's the Tottenham supplement, of course, and currently the clear winner, Mickey van der Ven, as our player of the season. The way we kind of do it on the group is for everyone else out there is that we do it in blocks. So you pick your favorite defender, favorite midfielder, and favorite forward. Sorry, the winners and the runners up in that get put into one big group. And this is currently what it looks like with Van der Ven leading the way, and it's a joint second between Vicario and Romero, Fraser Forster, and Brennan Johnson are currently tied in fourth. So that is interesting.
That is interesting, but that does show something that we've made a lot of changes defensively, and it looks like we've improved in a way defensively. Yes, if you look at the stats, we let a lot of goals in. we've let a lot of goals in. We haven't been like shrewd, but the future looks
But it's
bright
better
in
than
terms
last
of,
season.
yeah. I mean, if you put Van der Ven and Christian Romero in, for example, for the next 2-3 seasons, less goals, assists. Well, they may score a couple of goals in the air. They're both good in the air, and of course, Porro gets up. He pushes forward. He can score goals. We'd hope that Destiny gets a few goals. Yeah, Destiny. I think definitely a talent. Just he's still learning. He's still young. Porro's got a bit more experience because he went. Of course, Pep did not see him as a starter or someone who's going to play at Man City, so he had to go to Portugal, and he had some good seasons there. So yeah, I think Porro's got a bit more experience, even though Udogie did go, and of course he's played in Italy for a while, and that's how we found him, and we loaned him back, and then he came back. And he had, the thing is, if he didn't get injured, I just think he would have helped us. I think if we didn't have injuries to key players at key times, we could. I mean, we may have finished fourth. We may have not, but it's hard to say. I think overall we've had a very good season. We could consider us finishing fifth without Harry Kane being equivalent to finishing third. You think about it, because we're so reliant on one player. Everything we used to be about Harry Kane. He's had one full season in Germany, and yeah, Bayern Munich didn't win the league. They didn't win the Champions League. They didn't win anything. So,
not that
I'm players that go on loan and they go win a European Cup. Well, he might win something. Internationally, Harry Kane, we don't know. It depends, if you consider winning the European Championships as a trophy, because he has to win something, hasn't he? Yeah, but that's a separate point, isn't it? He's not a Tottenham player anymore. So.
But it looks like in a few hours we can find out if we crowned our player of the season, which is if it happens, that's well done to him. So still a few hours to go. So if you're on the group, they get voting. Okay, so that's that one covered there, and we kind of touched on it a little bit. But the summer transfer window.
Rumors.
In terms of what to expect, really. I mean, and what our goals are. I mean, I know that Postecoglou has talked about challenging for the title and wanting to see that challenge. So I guess we're going to have a summer window which kind of reflects that. But it depends. I mean, in his eyes, he was talking about getting the kind of players that will play his system. I know in a lot of Spurs fans' eyes, it means trying for the title. Okay, so we need a defender that costs 95 million. We need a backup goalkeeper that costs 125 million, which obviously is not the way Postecoglou has worked it before. He finds these players in the rough that will do the job. I will learn from him, that will carry out his instructions to a T. And I'm guessing a lot of Spurs fans will be in for a surprise at the type of players that we will get this summer. And we're already kind of linked with Eberechi Eze, Crystal Palace midfielder or forward, I presume. I'm not quite sure where he plays. I mean, he plays as a winger, but
left,
some say that he
wing,
plays number
central
10 as well. Yeah. So he's quite versatile.
He can play anywhere. I think wherever he plays, he's quality in whatever attacking position, really. So I don't think his levels vary. I think if he plays on the left, he does very well. If he plays centrally, he does well. I don't think his performances vary that much wherever he plays. So yeah, that's one player. I think for me personally, that will be the number one target. People talking about other players we need Conor Gallagher at Spurs. I don't think we need Conor Gallagher at Spurs. I don't think. What we do need is if we get Conor Gallagher and he wants to come to Spurs, that's a different question. But I think Eze is. I think even before this season, I'm sure we've been targeting and tracking Eze for a while. I think.
I think we have been from the QPR days.
If you look at Crystal Palace, he's always he hasn't had a full season where he's injured or playing well. I think last season under even under the new coach, he's been doing pretty well. He's been scoring goals, and they've got their main striker who can't hardly score. He was hitting something like 13 goals in 15. Eze, Elise, and the other guy up front, John Philip Mateta. Those three, or maybe another 4 players that have done really well. It shows that he's done well. He's been picked for England ahead of James Maddison and other attacking players. So I don't know who. It's wanting a player and who we think we need. I think we need Eze at Spurs, or someone like him. If we get Eze, that'd be fantastic. 60 million is a lot of money, but
that's add-ons.
We pay
8 million.
we pay 60 million for other players, and they haven't worked out. But I'm not saying he won't work out. It's just it'd be interesting. Let's see what happens in the European Championships. I'm sure we'll be tracking players. This is how we found Luka Modric playing for Croatia all those years ago. We tracked him. He had a fantastic season. Such a young player. We found him, and I think he would light Spurs up. I think if you see how well he's playing at Crystal Palace and how he's improved. A Palace team known for just trying to get a 1-0 or defend, and they just. I mean, there's a few players I'd like at Spurs from Palace, but probably Eze, number 1 target. It's like we could do another. With another centre back, but how many games is he going to get ahead of someone like Romero or Van der Ven? We don't know, and we've got Dragusin, so I think we're fully covered at centre back. It's just, I haven't really followed any of the transfer rumours.
That's kind of
Eze probably, and I'm just seeing at fullback we may be getting rid of Emerson Royal if Milan are interested, because
we'll be sorry to see him go.
Yeah, because I think Milan are actually looking for a right wing back. They're short in that area, so it's actually a good chance he would go. And if we lose a wing back or a right back or a defender, we need to replace him with someone similar or slightly better. So I don't know if we're linked with any other wing backs at the moment, but
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I can't quite think of anything.
Monaco's Brazilian fullback, Rantz.
Van der Sen is one, but a lot of people are poo-pooing that idea. It's going to cost about 25 million, so it'd be a for replacement, I think. But hard to say. I mean, I quite like the look of him, really. But
I have to, I'll do a bit of research on him.
About Emerson.
Yeah.
Because say people complain about Emerson already, then what are they going to do about Van der Sen when he comes in?
I don't see why they're complaining about it. Did anyone expect Emerson Royal to become a star straight away? It takes time. Yes, he's not what we're looking for. I think fans, they will love attacking football, so that's why they like Porro. I like Porro. Of course, I like Porro. I think it's fantastic. But don't we need another player like Porro but can defend? I'm not saying Porro can't defend, but I don't say it's his strong point.
Yeah, as a wing back, it wouldn't be, would it? Because
I don't think many fullbacks can defend and attack as well.
No.
There's a few.
Whereas, Emerson was the type of defend, and probably his attacking was probably what let him down. But that's understandable because he's more of a defender. But,
we have centre backs that got a lot of pace, but they can't defend that well. I think Sanchez, we're down Sanchez, had a lot of pace. And we signed him at a time where he was doing well, but the problem was defensively. I like the guy, but that's the problem. I think we need one more season of Real. I think Emerson Real. I think you can't really sign him off. You can't really say, "Oh no, that's him. He's done." One more season, I think. It's not as if like with Perisic, he was 33. We had him on a short-term deal. We weren't really losing out on anything, but I think with Royale, he may have a great season next season. We don't know. We never know.
Yeah,
We may
that's the
play
thing.
Royale at right wing back, and we end up playing Porro at right wing. We don't know. We don't know what Ange's got in place, but yeah, I haven't really followed much of the rumours. I know for a while we've been linked with a central midfielder from Chelsea, but I don't know if there's any real, real story behind it. I don't know because there's like hundreds of journalists. There's people that were in the know apparently that know, the club and they know the insides, the outs of Chelsea Football Club. But there was
Well,
times that
that player is Conor Gallagher, isn't it? But and they're saying that a bid
yeah
is incoming, similar to
yeah
a bid for a striker apparently. So and that's
yeah
Ivan Toney apparently.
yes, Tony. That's another player that I don't know. Is Tony? I don't know. Tony's of an age as well where you think yes, he needs to make a team to like a big club, or he can just stay at Brentford and Brentford don't look like a team that's going to get relegated. He can do well there. A bit like Ollie Watkins is playing for Villa, who have improved a lot over seasons, but Ollie Watkins, if he went to a bigger club, would he do any better? I don't know. That's my personal thing. Ollie Watkins fine at somewhere like Villa. He's their kind of main man, and they've got other young players. You've got John Duran at Villa. He's only 18 years old, and I think he scored a hat trick in the last couple of. I think he scored a hat trick in one of the games. So I think they're okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about Ivan Toney. I don't know. We know about him, but I don't know much. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if we're linked with him. Is it serious? Of course, Ange's going to go. Yes, I want Ivan Toney. If it was Mourinho, say yes, I want Cristiano Ronaldo here. I want him. He used to say that. I don't think Ange's going to say much.
Nah, true.
So,
Very true. Well, I suppose you would have a bit more of a input because he does work. He does work to the point where it has to be his way or not. So he'll have quite a large say in what goes on. I know that
yeah, of
a
course.
lot of Spurs fans will listen to that and think, really? And yeah, it will happen. It will happen. He is his own man. So if he sees the player that he wants, it's on him, and we get that player, and that's what he's happy with. There won't be. I mean, obviously there'll be club signings, as they say, because that's what our youth management is all about. I mean, they identify
Yeah,
the younger players to come through, and they'll be managed by the club, and they'll be brought into that and utilizing the system of the club eventually to be used by the manager. But
yeah,
so it is a two-pronged system. I know that doesn't. I
that's
know a lot of people
true.
are not happy with that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I think that's how it works. In theory, a player has to be interested to come to a club, and sometimes we have
Mm.
to have some like a bargaining chip. There's been times we've gone, all right then. If you want Lamella, for example, to go to Sevilla or wherever, we would want to sign someone coming the other way. Sometimes that works, but I
Mm.
just don't think doing business with Chelsea. I don't know if does Conor Gallagher want to leave Chelsea. I don't know. He's got the captaincy there, hasn't he? So why would he want to leave Chelsea? Yeah, but
He
to be
sort
honest,
of. I, I don't know if he's vice captain or not. I mean, I know Rhys James is the captain of the
oh
club
yeah, because Reece
at
James, yeah,
Chelsea.
didn't he?
Mm.
Or what happened to
But
Reece James?
yeah.
He's a forgotten
Mm.
man. But yeah, that's the
Mm.
thing. Like even with Chelsea, they used to have Mauricio Pochettino in charge. He was doing fine. You know, he did a good job.
Mm.
If you're being like
Mm.
non-biased, he did a very good job without. Well, of course, he had lots of players worth lots of money, but that doesn't always click. But yeah, I just think even with Chelsea, with a new manager coming in or whatever, does kind of want to work with that manager? We don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's just speculations, isn't it? Where there's no concrete interest at the moment. I don't think any business is going to happen while the Euros are on, unless it's with players who aren't taking part in the Euros. If it's like a South American player or a team that didn't qualify for the Euros. So yeah, Tony, I don't know. I don't know what you think of Ivan Tony. Is he going to improve Spurs? Is he a player you like? If he's going to, is he going to fit in?
That's my issue, really. If it was the case of a Ange style player, I mean, I've seen enough of Tony, but not enough, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm the same. People have always seen enough of him. He's been banned for how many months for irregular betting or whatever. Of course, same with Tony. He came from like whatever non-league football or whatever, or then he built his way up to the Premier League. It's fine. A lot of players that's happened to, they've come from nowhere. But yeah, I haven't seen enough of him to say, but I've seen enough of Eze. Every time the games I've seen Crystal Palace play, Eze, Elise, and whoever else, those two mainly, they're lighting up Crystal Palace against everyone. They're not like, oh, yes, okay, Crystal Palace may not be like a top 4, top 5 team, but Eze stands out. I don't think Tony really stands out at Brentford. Really, yeah, he takes very good penalties, and he was their main man. But Brentford did fine when he was banned anyway. Visser was scoring goals, and Brian Obuma was scoring goals. So yeah, I think definitely would like someone like Eze. I think we need players in every position, really, but we don't want to get it in one window.
No,
there's certain players we know they're going to leave because they're not getting the game time and they're not fitting in. But there's certain players I'm unsure about. I don't think getting rid of Emerson Royale. If we get rid of him, what other players have we got in there? We've only got Porro, unless we bring someone from the youth team or get someone to play in there and to fit in there. So yeah,
that's where the links to Anderson comes in, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know much about him because, to be honest, I don't really watch much of French league. Sometimes, I watch quite a lot of German football, and the odd time I may watch a bit of Spanish football, but no. Yeah, I don't think the league
that's the thing.
I mean,
you mentioned German football, though. I mean, Bayern Munich apparently going to have a fire sale. And a lot of players are looking to leave. I mean, somebody mentioned on the group that the likes of Kimmich, the likes of Serge Gnabry, who else is
players, very good players.
Leon Goretzka, all available to be bought.
Fantastic player. Fantastic players.
And I think I mentioned on the.
Those are 3 fantastic players.
I think yeah.
Because I think with Musiala at a very young age and probably playing the best football of his career, he's still young. Goretzka, I suppose, is more of a defensive midfielder, and he built his career playing somewhere else, and then he came to Bayern Munich. But yeah, I think we'll see. It'll be interesting, won't it? Because we'll see some of these players perform in the Euros for Germany. Some in the squad, some aren't. But yeah, I just think where do you think our key area we need to strengthen? I think it's in that attacking midfield or midfield area. You need someone to provide the goals.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I agree with you there. If we are going to it is mostly midfield in my eyes. Someone who's more of a defensive player.
Yeah, you have to build any good team. Any good team has to build from their midfield, really. It doesn't matter.
That's where
we've got a 40 goal season striker. We need the midfield to create the goals for them. That's how stars are made. If you keep feeding the striker, eventually he's going to score.
Speaking of the stars, speaking of stars, I mean, we do have young Lucas Bergvall come in, haven't we? The young Swedish 18 years old.
Swedish midfielder,
but I'm presuming he's going to go straight into the first team, because I think that's what we've kind of said
Yeah.
will happen. So it'll be interesting to see how he fits into this whole team. Maybe that's the attacking midfielder set, really. I know he's 18, but he's been playing for a while now in Sweden's top flight. I know people complain about that, but at least he's playing games. That's what we need. That's
Well,
what
the
we
thing
need.
with the Swedish top flight is still quite competitive. He's playing against men, and he's
Mm,
basically a boy, so he must be doing pretty
yeah.
well. And I think the
Mm,
Swedish league, of course, it unearthed the Swedish league has unearthed quite a lot of good players in the past. You know, so yeah, I think
mm,
maybe Ange sees him as someone that will get player time because if, for example, Skip is not going to get any time and he's going to go on loan or be sold, this guy's going to come in and do
mm,
what Skip does. And at 18, he'll be like, he'd actually look forward to it. I'm 18, I'm going to get some time. The thing with Skip, he's like, well, I've been at the club for a while now. I'm not getting the time.
mm,
Maybe I need to move on or go on loan. So, yeah, if some of these young players were signed, they're probably going to go out back on loan, or they will get some time training with the first team, and that's how Andrew's going to see him. He's not going to see them or by watching like a video link of them playing. He has to see them face to face. Of course, he's met Bergevall, hasn't he? And he's met him when he went for his medical. Said
yes.
hello to him, and then of
Yeah.
course his family. So yeah, you're
Mm,
right. I think this midfield we need to concentrate on.
hmm.
Keeper's solid.
Yeah.
We can't really say, oh, the keeper's had one bad game, we're going to replace him and put someone else in. Keepers usually get a longer time unless they're doing really badly. Same with
Have you
Lloris,
met Spurs fans?
Yeah, the thing with Lloris, I think, yes, he could have been a top two keeper in the Premier League. He made mistakes,
Mm,
but keepers make mistakes. I think like Edison's making mistakes. Uh, Allison makes
mm,
mistakes, but the difference is they're title winners. When they make their mistakes, like one
mm,
in whatever 50 games. But yeah, I think Spurs fans they want instant success. If they don't get success, they want Ange out, they want Poch in, whatever. I'm more patient because I know like if we get the right midfielder in, it can change everything. If it's Eze,
mm.
that'd be fantastic. If
Yeah.
it's not, there's other midfielders we can like target other midfielders who are attack minded. It's just hard to do business in the Premier League, and British players have got that higher. I think they've got that higher price tag now. It's always been the case. Like
High
Spurs
premiums.
trying to
Yeah.
buy X amount of
Mm.
players, trying to buy Darren Bent from Charlton or wherever, or where he's from, like 16.5 million. He's probably worth 5, but we had to pay
16.5 million. Yeah.
whatever we paid over the top. We've bought.
Yeah.
I just think get a nice midfielder in, bed him into the squad, job done. Because James Maddison works hard, but
Mm,
yeah, we've seen like 3/4 of a James Maddison season. Imagine a whole season of James Maddison where he gets maybe 10
mm,
goals, 15 assists. That'd be fantastic. Yeah, I think Leicester
mm,
fans are right. He has 10 really good games and then he signs up. But then when he was at Norwich, he did really well. He's done well. He's done well wherever he's been, James Maddison. But I just think he needs to kick on and hopefully stay fit. I won't say it's his fault he
mm,
got injured because it wasn't his fault, but same for
mm.
Bentancur. He had a bad injury. Um, I thought fully thought Bentancur would help us to play with Saar, but yeah, it's a midfield, and then everything's a bonus, isn't it? After that, if you get a good midfielder in, just see what happens. I don't know what
Yeah.
business is going to be done while the Euros are on. I don't think much is going to happen.
Oh, we
Um,
we usually find a way, don't we?
yeah,
Okay.
maybe
Well, so we
agents
shall see
at the
what.
Euros looking at players.
Oh, they always are. They always are. Man. Well, so that's the summer window. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of unfolds. But yeah, we've got new kits coming. I mean, they have arrived already. I mean, they came out
They've
on
arrived.
Tuesday, didn't they?
Fans have already got fans are already sporting their kits and saying they're grey or not so great. It depends.
Already
Depends what
complaining.
you're looking for in a kit, I think. I think the home kit looks all right. It
Yeah, it looks snazzy.
looks nice. It does look snazzy.
Mm.
Yeah, I think
You're
people
going to be
are.
getting yours?
I'm going to. I think a lot of people have been going. They're always complaining about, oh, it's £125, or that I don't like the home kit. I
The
don't like the
stadium
weight.
one, yeah. Mm.
Yeah, elite, isn't it? Elite or stadium one.
Yeah, the elite one. Yeah.
To be honest, I've started looking at it, and then now I forgot about it. But yeah, I think it's a nice kit.
Mm.
It's a nice kit. I think some fans are saying, why are they still sticking with having like red in the sponsorship? But the insurance company is in red already, isn't it? They can't really change it to blue, can they?
No, exactly. Exactly.
I don't know
Yeah,
how they expect to change it.
no, it's not going to be changed.
It's a
And
bit
a
of
lot of
red. Can't do
mm,
much about it. When
no,
you're doing
I mean,
when you're doing deal with like million or £1 billion companies, they don't want to go. They're not going to go. Oh no, we can't have this that's got red in it. We'll find a sponsorship with a company with no red in, or whatever colours you don't
no,
like.
exactly.
I think the kits
Exactly.
look
It does
nice.
kind of get a bit bored every time I hear that, though. Every time.
Yeah, I mean everyone likes a kit. I think some people like the. I think some people like all the kits. Some people don't like any of them. It's hard
Hmm.
to say. I mean, it's a lot of
Yeah,
money
the
for the
blue
kit.
one is going to be an interesting one.
Sorry.
So the blue one's going to be an interesting one when that comes out because I've already seen a lot of criticism in the group about that one. It looks like
Bananas and
bananas and
pajamas. I bought
pajamas.
it. That's why I
Yeah.
bought it. It is bananas and pajamas. And some people have bought it.
So,
Some people have got these kits
mm,
from like secondary or third sites, and they're already like modeling them, and it looks nice.
allegedly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
right.
No. Some people, yeah, they've got it
Mm,
by whatever means, and they like it. That's up to them.
mm,
It does. They,
yeah.
I don't know. It may look good on, It just sometimes the
Mm,
design looks a bit rushed. I think on the away kit, but for the home kit's fine.
mm.
It's like a classic look, isn't it? It's not going over the top.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true. Very true. The green one coming out soon. Well, I don't know when that's going to come out, but
green one looks
yeah,
okay.
like a nod to the Champions League campaign kit.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it is yeah, I quite like it. I probably would have
I think
preferred
it's
it
a
in
good
its
color for a
the white
kit. I
white
think.
shorts.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they're gone with dark green with the dark green shirt. So yeah, it'll be interesting that one when it comes
yeah.
out. And right, this is going to be a nice little controversial end to this stream. It's going to be what's come out since the 4th of June. Of course, Manchester City looking to take the Premier League to court. This is on the back of their 115 charges that
Yeah.
that the Premier League have charged them with. If you add that onto the charges that were dismissed from when UEFA tried to charge them a couple of years ago, looks like City have been naughty, and there looks like there's a lot of evidence. But this is what's kind of come out. Has been reported that an arbitration meeting will take place over the legality of the league's rules regarding commercial revenues from entities linked to club ownership. The rules are designed to ensure any such commercial deals represent fair market value and prevent clubs from artificially inflating commercial deals to gain an unfair advantage. So basically, like City have just kind of been, well, allegedly been selling their assets off to sister companies linked to their own company, that sort of thing. And the sponsorships with Etihad that are just obviously Etihad are part of the same company that own Manchester City. I think that's how
Yeah,
it works. And
yeah.
the sponsorship is really crazy. Hence them getting the money. So it looks legal on paper, but obviously it's not. And now City are trying to take the Premier League to court because of the PSR rules. They say that that's unfairly penalising them. So it's interesting.
It's going to be
Me,
interesting what's going to
I just want to
happen.
put.
I
I
don't
just want to
know. I
put my
think
phone at them really.
if they can, I mean, that's a lot of charges, and if they're found guilty, I don't know how they're going to penalise them. Take all their trophies away, break the stadium down, make them play in like a non-league. I don't know what's going to happen. I remember a long time ago, one Rangers, I think they went to liquidation or something. They had to start again from the beginning.
Yes. Yeah,
For
all the
Man
way
City,
down
yeah,
the bottom league.
I think they'll find a way. I mean, if of course there's proof that, you know, against these charges. So yeah, I think other clubs have been penalised.
Yeah, we can't understand why Man City have gone down this route, because if they try and make it look on a legal basis like they are being unfairly targeted because of their ownership, because I think that's essentially what this court case is all about. That means that if they are found, if the court finds in their favour, that means a lot of the charges will just suddenly melt away, the 115 charges.
Yeah.
So it is important that they try to the Premier League, because this is something that was all voted for by the clubs, wasn't it? PSR and all that. So they can't really. I know the only teams that really backed Man City in that vote was Chelsea, stands to reason. There was a third club, and Aston Villa are also another one. I'm not quite sure why they were backing Man
Yeah,
City
I'm
in,
not
in,
sure.
in this fashion. Oh, Chelsea's the other one. Why did I think? I don't know if I get Chelsea. And Aston Villa. So I guess all four clubs want to try and tear down this PSR rule, so they can spend wildly beyond their means. But
Yeah.
everyone voted for it. It's a democratic process, and you need 14 clubs to get it over the line. So obviously, 16 clubs voted for it. So the other four have to try to live with it, and they are trying to overturn the rules to try and get themselves off the hook. Then hopefully the court doesn't agree with them, and hopefully the Premier League slap them with as many fines or demote them, because buying the title is just not right. I don't care what people say. They've seen enough of it with Chelsea.
Yeah,
Man
exactly.
City didn't jump on it. And
I
then
don't believe in
Newcastle
buying a
joined in as
title.
well. Mm.
You can spend billions of pounds and still not win the title. Chelsea, billions, and won the title.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know how much City spent this season just gone, but they spent quite a bit of money. But over the years, yeah, if you look at it, yes, they have bought the title. But I just think there's no to be a sensible way. Yes, you get a billionaire to invest in your club, but there should be some parameters or limits of how far you can go. I think, yeah. Oh yeah, of course, they're going to be found guilty of something. Say there's 100. Are you saying what? How many charges? Even if they found guilty of half those charges, there's a lot of, they'll be fined and other things will happen. They just set an example if Man City are guilty on paper and found guilty, they have to be the example set then of what not to do next time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yep,
if Spurs
exactly.
had a billionaire, I'm sure would try and spend the money wisely and try and make changes. But yeah, it's difficult because
technically we do have a billionaire, but we've never been run like that, have we?
no, we run like a business, a lot of profit, a lot of profit, but without seeing the success of that profit. I mean, you could have considered the best stadium in the world, spent £1 billion on it, but yeah, there has to be some success that you'll see, like a fruit of your labor. They've spent the money, but what is the it's basically a business, and we know that. I don't mind it being a business. I don't mind it being an NFL stadium. I don't mind it being a F1 track or stadium to watch music or baseball. I think baseball was that baseball? No, at the stadium. No, somewhere else. Anyway, yeah.
I
I think
think
there
that's
was baseball at the
London Stadium, wasn't it? Baseball.
Yeah, London Stadium, wrong stadium. But they're cashing in with the baseball, making a lot of money. But yeah, I think penalised. I don't know. Maybe if there's 100 odd charges, and if they get found guilty of 50 of those, that's still a lot of a lot of
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see what happens.
Exactly that.
We may find at the start of the season or halfway through the season, Manchester City are found guilty of all the charges. And this is what's going to happen. You have to give Tottenham Hotspur 2 of your best players. No, you know what I mean. That's not. You have to do this to make it fair. you need to sell your top two players outside of the Premier League. I don't know how it works. I don't know how they're going to find them. Just say you can't have.
I think the only fine would be might be a point deduction for every charge that they're facing.
Oh
So it
God,
might end up in there.
they still
Yeah,
wouldn't leave.
I don't know if it's like a
This is
10-point
every
charge for all.
game. I don't know how many points it is. Yeah, they've
Oh
said it's
yeah,
like
if
8
it says
points or something.
I don't know if it's like a
Pretty
10-point
relegated.
charge for sorry, a 10-point deduction for every charge. 115 charges. That's what.
God.
So you're
Yeah,
getting
but
nearly 1,000 points. So might as well just be relegated to down to League Two, just to do it
yeah,
sorted.
if these charges, if they're found guilty of these charges, yeah, yeah, you're right. Relegation would be the only option.
Mm.
When it happens,
That's
we
what I
don't
want to
know.
see.
Well, Pep's
Yeah.
leaving anyway, isn't he?
It's not been
Yeah,
official,
one of
but
these things.
yeah,
Someone
that's
else
not
can
been official.
deal with
But
it.
that, yeah, that is a chat really. That if so I'm thinking that if he's deciding to leave now, he hasn't made it official. But if he decides to leave now, then that means that he sees what's happening, he sees what's coming, and that's got to
You
be
know, yeah,
yeah.
you
That's
know, he's a
exactly that.
shrewd man. Yeah, we don't know. Like, like Liverpool, you know, Klopp had success. He knows for whatever reason he wants to break or leave Liverpool. Pep's probably leaving because he doesn't want to be caught up in it. Doesn't be answering those questions week in, week out. He'd rather be worrying about, are we going to win the title? How do you think? Yeah, I just think Pep may leave. They must know, the players and some of the higher management must know that how far they are down the process of being successful to quash the charges. They know that they're in trouble, then there must be they must have some backup plan, But you're right. There's only one way. Just relegate him to whatever league the point deductions work out as.
Yeah, do
But
what they like to do in Italy, just relegate them and make them work their way back up. So yeah, I mean, we shall see, we shall keep. I'm not quite sure when that court case is, but we'll keep a close eye on it. I'm sure nearly every Premier League club is keeping a close eye on it. I understand that I think 9 clubs are due to give evidence, and Daniel Levy is one of those about to give evidence against Man City, whereas the other 3 clubs that we mentioned, Aston Villa, Chelsea, and
Levy may
Newcastle,
get
will give
lost.
evidence on behalf of Man City.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think Darren Levy may get lost on his way to the hearing or get kidnapped
nah,
by some
but
Qatari history.
but,
But
but
that's
yeah, it will
another
be
thing.
interesting to see how it all develops. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another subject, Daniel Levy. There's the haters and
Indeed.
the lovers and the people in between. But yeah, I just think whatever happens to Man City, I don't know whether it'd be. Well, if they're guilty, it'd be fair. If they're not found guilty, it'll be like a miscarriage of justice. One, they'd be like, well, they got away with it. They bought their way out, but we don't know what's happening behind. We don't know what's happening behind closed doors. We can only go by the tiny bits of information we get every time, thinking, oh, that they could be found guilty, and then there is hope.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's correct. Okay. Well, it looks like we come to the end under the stream. Actually, it hasn't been too bad. Just almost on a couple of hours. So yeah, got through quite a lot, and yeah, looking to try and make this a weekly thing. So we shall see what happens. We'll probably pencil in next week as well. And it's something that I might get involved in. Obviously, because man's got to work, so I'll be doing like I might think of doing like some watch-alongs in the evening, and for the
Yeah, we used to do that
Euros.
before. I don't think it used to last about 3.5 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah, the days
exactly.
of when we were doing well in the FA Cup.
Oh yeah, the Everton game that was
Yeah, that
crazy. That
Everton
one.
game, Davinson Sanchez, we thought he was going to be the hero. It didn't work out.
So, yes. So I think the first evening game, if I look on the whatchamacallit, I think because it starts on what, the 14th, isn't it?
Yeah, in
So
a few days.
yeah,
I think
so we
Scotland
shall.
play Germany soon.
Scotland, Germany, nice. So I think what we'll do is we'll just do the 8 o'clock kickoffs. It'll be when I get back. Oh, actually, just some breaking news. No, probably just wrong. On the group, according to Alistair Gold, we've scouted Hiroki Ito and
Oh,
Murillo, a midfielder for Nottingham Forest.
yeah.
Ito is central defender. That's the thing I was trying to think of. I couldn't quite get it out. So it looks like we scouted
Yeah.
them. So who knows? It might be
That's
one
it.
of
Oh,
those.
yeah, we're
Another one
scouting
thing
someone
we.
else as well, weren't we? What's his name?
Hmm,
Callum Hudson-Odoi. We're after that guy.
we are.
Apparently.
Well, we were. Well,
We
apparently,
were
yeah.
until I said that other clubs that have already qualified for the Champions League are probably going to be ahead because that's what he wants. I think there's
Yes.
4 clubs that
Yeah.
are after him, and 2 are already qualified for the Champions League. So, what does that mean?
Hmm.
Who qualified? Villa, Liverpool. I don't see Liverpool going anything for him. It's probably Villa, isn't it? It won't be very far from to go from
You
Nottingham.
think so? Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
we don't know, but we were interested in him apparently.
Hmm.
It'd
But
be a good
yeah.
player if you
So
never played for Chelsea.
yeah.
It'd be a
Exactly.
good sign if you never
Exactly
played for
that.
Chelsea. No, I just think
Very true.
they stagnated his career as well. Another star that just didn't get enough time because we'll
Didn't
see
shine too
what
bright. Yeah.
8 o'clock kickoffs they are, and then
And then yeah. So actually, let me just grab
take
this
it
and
from
have
there,
a
right?
look.
And then it's wear like a football shirt from that team. Some people
Mm.
do that. I don't know
That's
how,
what
how they're gonna.
they do. I think the first 8 o'clock kickoff is our game on the Sunday. England against
Oh,
yeah. I think that's what it was. Let me have a quick check. Um, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Euros. Okay, yeah. So Group A, that's Germany, Scotland. Okay, so that's a Friday. So we could cover that one, Germany, Scotland. That'll be a nice little weekend opener and the competition opener as well. So we could have a look at that one. Saturday, the 8 o'clock kickoffs there. Italy, Albania. Interesting.
that could be interesting.
Mm. And then
Albania, a bit of
Sunday, yeah, I mean, they have a lot of history, those two, don't they? Italy and Albania, culturally, I should say.
yeah,
And Sunday will be Serbia against England. So those will be the 3 games you could open up on. And
juicy game.
yeah,
Serbia, a decent team.
that will be a tricky one. But yeah, we'll open
That's a
up
good.
on Friday with the championship opener, Germany versus Scotland. So apparently, I found out I got like a Scottish blood in me going back from the 1800s. So I'm gonna try to put on my really awful Scottish
Could be a good game.
accent, and then taking on Germany. It will be an interesting one. So join me for that one. Well, join us both for that one. It'll be a good game, and I look forward to that one. So yeah, it was yeah, good live stream, I'd say, and
Yeah, good live
covered
stream, got
quite
a
a
lot
lot
of
of points
points
in
to
the last couple
discuss.
of weeks. Hmm,
There's lots to discuss, I think, but yeah, let's see
hmm,
what happens with Spurs and the transfer rumours, ins and outs.
hmm. It's going to be an interesting summer. Let's put it that way. Okay, so
Yeah,
to catch us both, we're on the Tottenham supplement, of course. Just join us on Facebook and join in the discussion. And yeah, we'll be back on the Friday with a live stream, a live watch along, Germany versus Scotland for the Euros. I'm looking forward to that game. That should be a good one. And yeah, we shall see what happens. Any final thoughts before we disengage?
no, I think we've discussed quite a lot. I just hope some positive news comes into Spurs for a change. I think fans need to
Mhm.
kind of reunite to the fact that we do need to get rid of some players. Just be realistic. And some players, we're not going to all get the players we think we're going to get. I just think if we did get a marquee signing like Eze, that'd be fantastic. If not, there's always other options. I think in the pipeline because, as you said, that Ange, when he wants something, he normally gets it. If he wants a certain type of player, he would be trying to get something similar to that, because I think at the moment, fifth is great. A lot of fans saying, no, it's not. Fifth is a disappointment. We didn't win anything. But fifth is an improvement from where we thought we'd be, with or without Kane. Even with Harry Kane, there's no guarantee we're going to finish fourth, third, second, or win the league. There's no guarantees. You could have, Alan Shearer in your team, and he could score the most. He could score 40 goals a season for Newcastle for 12 seasons, and they not win anything. That's a prime example. I think Spurs fans need to reunite and be realistic. Fifth is a good finish. Even if we finish fifth next season, it's not a bad thing, because we're rebuilding under a new manager, a new philosophy, and a new system. Previous seasons, yes, we've had managers with very similar systems, defensive minded, maybe not as positive, but didn't play the football we wanted. But yeah, I don't know. Similar points tallies though from previous managers that Ange had, really. Some managers were let go early, some managers left. I think Ange will stay. He'll stay, and hopefully we'll have a couple of trophies. He'll stay. He has to stay, and then we just have to be patient, and then he can build his own legacy. It's hard to say if we win a trophy next season.
That's all we want to see.
We'll see. I think, be realistic. We have to have a strong enough squad to have players to put out in the cup. We can't chop and change, and we can't expect to play out first 11 that we play in the FA Cup and play the same 11 in the Premier League. Because at the moment our squad is a bit small, so we need to add to that. So yeah, I just think it was a pretty good season. Hoping for more next season.
It's going to be an interesting one. Okay, well, thanks for everyone who tuned in to watch, and a couple of the comments as well. It was good to engage again. It's been a while since we did like a proper live stream, so it was good to chat again and to get our points out there. Okay, and so the next time we're on, it will be on Friday. We're going to do our own little Euros watch along. All the late kickoffs we're going to do on this channel. So join us for that. The first one on Friday, Germany versus Scotland, should be an interesting one, and they're looking forward to watching that, and they're looking forward to seeing how England do on Sunday. But also in between that, we got Italy against Albania on the Saturday. So that's who we shall be following and watching. Join us then. Thank you all for tuning in. Catch you all soon, and as always, come on, you Spurs, and you all take care.
Thanks, Spurs.